Here are some things you'll only know if you work in book marketing. Number 1, you will spend hours and hours making a strategy, which will then just simply be ignored. Things change constantly, people don't necessarily understand the way you work, and half the time people just assume that social media is not a job, it's just a hobby. Number 2, as a marketer, you will end up working with sales, publicity, editorial to the point that you actually don't know if you're a marketer anymore or if you're one of those. The job is fluid, the job changes, and you need to work with lots of different people at different times in order to make your work work. Marketing is an amplification tool. You amplify what publicity is doing, you work with sales to make sure that is working, and you work with editorial to make sure the author is amplified. At every one point, you're doing everyone else's job, but actually you're just doing marketing because that's the whole point. You have to market your marketing. Number 3, in books, everyone says that the Christmas time is the busiest time of year. They're wrong. The busiest time of year for fiction books is between February and April, and the busiest time for non-fiction books is between September and November. Christmas actually is a dead month. Not very much is published in December. You spend most of that time doing admin, getting prepared for January and February when the fiction books hit, and you start looking back at your budgets and discussing things and doing your expenses. All the admin comes at Christmas time. Actually, autumn and spring are the busiest times in publishing, for marketers at least. Number 4, sometimes you work closely with authors and other times you just don't. Depending on the genre you're working in, depending on how much publicity an author's doing, depending on how involved an author is, it changes book by book, author to author. Some authors require a lot of hand-holding and require that kind of confidence in having their team around them. Others just don't need to be involved in the slightest, and don't want to be, and I respect that. As a marketer, I prefer a half and half situation when I'm in-house, but as a self-published marketer, I prefer working obviously directly with my authors. My top tip, though, is to get to know your author. The more you know them, the easier it is to amplify them, to understand them, and to give them the materials that they need in order to get their side of things done. These are just my opinions, but